Swedlow, and this is Televisionation. Like you didn't already know, I know a lot of people are watching these shows, so I'm so happy you're here. So happy to have Nate Houghteling, who is the executive producer of Portal A, and the URL is on the screen. Welcome to the show, Nate.
Thanks so much for having me.
You are a local company here in San Francisco.
That's right.
And I think that there should be more fuss made over you because you guys are original content producers in San Francisco. We need more of you, but you're sort of like the, active producing, social media, savvy company here in town, and people should know you exist more. I mean, obviously your content gets out there, but I'm so happy to have you here. And obviously everyone is really interested in, how does a company producing original content handle quarantine and what we're all going through. So that's what we're here to find out. And how are you doing? Your family's okay?
Yeah, everyone's doing well. My wife works for the mayor of San Francisco, so she's out there solving real problems, and I'm teaching celebrities how to use webcams. But it's been a crazy year.
I know that sounds like, maybe there's an out of balance in there, but in terms of doing the world good, but I think TV is an essential medium, right? We're all using the medium of video somehow, the technology rather. And I think if people didn't have TV right now, it wouldn't be good.
I tend to agree.
Obviously, people need to have food and money and things like that. And that's a longer political discussion. But for the meanwhile, let's hear about what's happening and how are you teaching celebrities and sports figures to learn to use video cameras? Tell us more about what are the challenges that you're facing right now, and a little bit about the shows you have been producing.
Please. For sure. So thank you so much for having me on the program. And yes, we're very proud San Francisco company. We do have half our team down in Los Angeles and downtown LA, but as three Bay Area kids, the Bay Area component is very meaningful to us. It's been a wild year, as it has been for everyone, and every industry is impacted in its own way. But back in March, we had pretty much a hell week where all of our clients, all of our projects either got put on hold or pushed indefinitely or canceled, and it got existential real quick. How do we?
Us here too. Yes. I mean, when all that happened, I mean, we knew we had to pivot, and it was just I know all of our brains were on fire for like 2 weeks.
Yes,
at least.
Completely, and it was scary, and it was dark in a lot of ways, but it also was invigorating. And I think the whole snow globe of our industry was shaken up, and I think it allowed for some new opportunities to emerge.
I like that metaphor. That's a good one.
Nice. I should have had one ready to go. I think the first things that came to mind for us were our talent partnerships. So to back up and give everyone a little more background on our company, we're a content company that with a focus on YouTube and social platforms. So 11 years ago, we kind of had the thesis, what if you made really awesome premium stuff for this new wave of platforms? And back then it was a revolutionary thought. Now it's much more accepted, and there's such a wide variety of quality that's being produced for these platforms.
When did you start the company?
We started the company like 2009, 2010. So and when we started the company sort of as creators ourselves. I mean, we were definitely in front of the camera for a lot of the videos, which creates for an awkward digital footprint. And it was born out of how much fun we were having, and with screenwriting backgrounds, filmmaking backgrounds, this is something we could have like instant gratification. So anyways, that's the story for another day. But in terms of this COVID moment and how we responded, we do a huge diversity of projects on the platform, and we do a lot of branded content, and we function as sort of an advertising agency to companies. We do a lot of original content. We have a development team that's creating shows for Quibi and YouTube Originals and Snap and on down the line. And then we work with talent partners. We do all of Stephen Curry's YouTube content, Carmelo Anthony, Naomi Campbell, Vin Diesel, and others. And so in the beginning of this, we kind of looked at our portfolio and saw a lot of opportunities on the talent side. Talent are at home and anxious and calling their agents every 30 seconds to kind of get a handle on what the market is doing. And so we saw an opportunity to continue to create. And one of the big projects to come out of this moment was one we just released about 6 weeks ago called Ultimate Home Championship with Stephen Curry. And that is a 50-minute competition special with pro athletes competing from their own homes. So they're competing in games against each other over Zoom in their backyard, in their living rooms. And it's all stitched.
On Twitch or something like that? You mean like World of Warcraft kind of a thing? Or what are you talking about?
No, they're playing games that we made up just for the events, but they're physical Olympic events. So the laundry hamper showdown, where you're stripping down, you're wearing like tons of clothes, you take one off at a time and throw it in a hamper across your living room. So stuff like that, but because they're athletes and they're super competitive, it worked, and we kind of stitched it together to feel like a true like Olympic event.
And you're teaching them how to shoot all this, or do you send a crew there that somehow, and that's pre-tested? I mean, how do you handle that?
Yeah, we do it in a variety of ways. Mostly we're creating production kits and sending them to the talent. So not sending anyone physically there, but most people have, someone in their immediate circle that can do so, or they just set it up and then we supervise everything over Zoom. The talent themselves press record. We kind of stay hands off. We have sent individual shooters in some cases when they were tested and we felt comfortable and the talent felt comfortable. But there's a lot we can do remotely. So that competition special definitely came out of this. Is a perfect example of like what's possible in this moment. People are missing sports. This is before sports had come back, and so we developed this idea, pitched it to YouTube Originals, and we were making it within a matter of a few weeks. So that, and then all of our talent partners have their own projects, and a lot of them were able to continue during this time. So Carmelo Anthony has a wine series called What's in Your Glass, where he is on Instagram Live sharing a bottle of wine remotely with someone.
Educational
Yeah,
yeah.
like wine seminar. Naomi Campbell has a series called No Filter, where she talks about the real issues of our day with guests, over in a remote setup. So we were still able to be producing, but it definitely made us rethink a lot of the foundational assumptions of production. And our head of production had to come up with a totally different playbook. Our talent team was thinking totally differently. Post-production, like on down the line, everyone was trying to figure out how to adapt to these conditions. And I think we've done a pretty good job, but it still feels like, one, we're going to be in this for a while, so there's a lot more, like, this isn't going away. And two, that there's still more creative potential out there. I think the first wave of programs was a lot of celebrities talking over Zoom, or people self-shooting different vlogs or different things. And we want to keep on pushing, because I think audiences are going to evolve, and they're going to have the stuff that worked a couple months ago is not going to be as compelling anymore. So we want to continue to sort of push the boundaries.
Are you finding efficiencies in this whole process that you think you'll retain?
Certainly with our workforce, with our employees, working remotely has been, and this isn't unique to production, obviously, but we've found it to be, uh, in some ways a welcome change of getting rid of the commute and like
Especially in
only
San
have,
Francisco or to LA
yeah,
or flying all around.
yes,
Yeah.
completely. Yeah, that's a big way that we've kind of the shakeup has, I think, will have a long lasting effect. Um, yeah, I mean, we still want to be getting out there and shooting, like having sets of 30 people and shooting really ambitious stuff, but yeah, a lot of the just like snap your fingers and we're immediately on a big set. I think that will start to be reevaluated because people are seeing how much they can accomplish with smaller crews or a follow doc shooter or even having a talent film themselves. So yeah, those are definitely tools that will be in the tool belt
Well,
forever.
are you exploring the idea that I know some productions are doing where they will hold people up in a studio or in a hotel or somewhere, and everybody involved is tested and quarantined, and is that something that you think you would pursue, or is that just too
Yeah,
much?
the kind of like the bubble approach, like the NBA is doing. Yeah, we're definitely looking into that. We're doing a scripted series right now with Snapchat, and they're eager to get it produced, and we really want to produce it. So we're looking at um, every opportunity, and everything's on the table. It is really challenging, and I think the projects that have been able to do that. I think Zendaya shot a film in like March, April, and the projects I have heard that have been successful have been mostly very small cast, especially no like crowd scenes or anything like that.
You have to
So
generate the crowds using virtual, augmented reality. I just interviewed the guys or the guy behind the company Pixatope, who was responsible for all the virtual fans, for the
oh
MLB Fox games.
oh wow,
So that's the video or two behind
yeah, they
before
must
this.
have a booming business right now. Yeah,
They could start producing some fans for you in in the
yeah,
show. But
yeah.
anyway, that's a different topic.
Hook up some fans.
Okay.
Um, uh, but yeah, I think a lot of the changes that are happening right now will be long lasting.
I wonder, if this will change the nature of content. I mean, don't you think that talking through Zoom and interacting live and involving a community, perhaps? I mean, are your clients, are they asking for stuff that involves interaction at all, where you might put it on a Zoom experience versus just sending it through YouTube, or maybe you'll use YouTube Live? I mean, to what extent are they looking for a more interactive experience with the original content? Is that on the
Yeah,
list?
yeah, definitely on the list. And I think audiences, it all starts with what audiences are looking for, and then there are various ways that content producers and platforms satisfy that or predict that. But I do think audiences are looking for connection right now, and hearing a really good conversation. It's why podcasts work so well. Uh, is a great way to kind of get that fix, that human connection. But yeah, there's a lot of, and I think the getting that connection, I think that the bar sort of raises over time. So, like you said, going from a pre-recorded Zoom conversation that you upload to YouTube to something like YouTube Live is definitely where there's more fan interaction. You're kind of in the moment. Is like taking it that one level further. And I think a lot of reasons people like live is for the authenticity, because you can't run away from anything. It's just like, it's who you are in the moment. And it's why Twitch is having such a huge spike in popularity, because people are kind of, yeah, looking for
Well,
that next.
that's why I'm kind of wondering, because we are seeing that the broadcasters, you'd think they'd be reaching out and saying, okay, produce a show with these guys throwing ball or hoops or some kind of, Nerf hoop in their living room or so, I don't know, something, or playing these games that you're inventing, but create this in a live context where there's interactivity. Perhaps it's like, and I'm getting the sense maybe that they're still not there yet, and yet you're saying they're asking for more connection, or the audience is asking for more connection. So it seems to me like there's a disconnect between what the audiences probably want, because they miss their live sports. So, I mean, what do you think about all that? Is there an
Yeah,
opportunity there?
yeah, I do think there's an opportunity. I it's I said that audiences are the foundation of all of these platforms, what they're looking for. But there is another huge factor, which is the uh, monetization plan, or the business behind these various platforms. And I think, as our culture is getting more casual and less premium. I mean, like, the most buttoned up people I've ever known are now, I talk to them on Zoom and their kids are running around in the background. And I think everyone's just been like taken down a notch, which I think is healthy. But yeah, as it relates to the networks and platforms, I think um, they're figuring out how to tap into that authenticity, and kind of what we're all going through right now, and commenting on that without like changing their core value proposition to viewers, which is connected to their business model. So if they're changing altogether the type of content they're making, or they're doing something like you said, like playing Nerf basketball and broadcasting that or something, at some point it starts to erode their brand and the advertisers that come to them and all these things. So
Interesting.
yeah, I think there's a tension there. But it is true that this will be changing the calculus of these different places.
And so, back to basics. Basics. Speaking of which, are your clients, your customers, are they the networks,
Oh,
studios, the ad agencies? Are you selling directly to Snap? I mean, like, where are you finding your business?
both. So about half or more than half of our business is direct to brand. We do work with some ad agencies, but mostly because the brand has decided that they want to be on a digital platform, usually YouTube, and then they go out and find the best partner for that. So, doing a big if we do a big campaign with Chromebook, for example, that we'll just work directly with the brand. And then the other part of our business is with platforms. So YouTube Originals or Snap will be working directly with them. So those are our two like main.
Speaking of which, I keep promoting our show. Ben Rellis, who's the head of originals for YouTube, it will be one of our keynote speakers at
Oh,
our
great!
show coming
Yes,
up on September 9th and
I
10th.
talked to Ben Rellis today.
Oh,
He's a
really?
great guy.
Well, next time you
Yeah,
say hi, tell him I said hi to.
I will.
Okay. Uh, that's a great place to be because he really wants to push all kinds of new content. You want to give us some hints about what you guys are
Um,
developing? I mean,
sure.
wait
Yeah.
for Ben's keynote at our show as well. We'll
Yes.
see.
Yeah. It's very topical right now in the kind of political voting space.
Political voting space. So, what content about voting to promote voting?
No follow-up questions.
Oh, interesting. All right. Well, the world's getting exciting on that topic. We'll see how it happens. Anyway, I'm actually very interested in politics, but that's another story,
Sure.
another time. So, where are you finding the most traction for original content right now? Who is the most proactive about delivering new stuff right now? YouTube or
Yeah, YouTube has really emerged this year. They had been figuring out their strategy for a few years, and they had decided, at one point it was a walled garden where you were going to pay a subscription fee. Then it was all AVOD, and I think they've landed on a good lane for themselves where um, it's really the chance to elevate and up level like everything that's happening across the platform in unique ways, and kind of delivering like a premium experience. through this network-like channel. But because the way they work, they're amplifying creator voices and spotlighting some of the celebrities that are coming onto the platform. It's starting to feel much more kind of organic. Like this is just, they're kind of surfacing the creme de la creme, and they're matching them with professional production partners like us, and just kind of creating great stuff, but still YouTube-y stuff. So yeah, they're a big one. And then Snapchat is also emerged as they have, through their Discover tool, a huge audience for original content, and they've been leveraging that with a lot of cool shows. We're working on a scripted show with them right now that they just announced at their upfronts. So yeah, those are two of the big ones.
What do you think about the controversy regarding TikTok? Are you delivering to TikTok?
We actually, our partner, Wheelhouse. So at the beginning of last year, our company, we were invested in by a company called Wheelhouse, started by Jimmy Kimmel and Brent Montgomery, and people who have been in unscripted TV for a long time. And they just did a deal with Hype House, which is one of the premier TikTok like collab houses. They're going to be doing their reality show and YouTube channels and a bunch of stuff. So we're definitely very invested in as a team, and kind of aware of everything that's going on. We don't usually not all of our work lives on TikTok. We've sort of because of the team we built and our skill set, are mostly focused on YouTube, Instagram, and other platforms. But yeah, I mean the controversy is still like very much playing itself out. So I don't mean it might be hard to even have like a coherent take on it.
Yeah, it might change on a dime around here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go back to the topic of YouTube and or influencers. Do you actively cultivate influencers out there to then generate original content that you own? Are you in that business, or do you partner up with an agency who, because they found you to produce that content for those influencers? Where do you sit in that ecosystem?
Yeah. So all of our relationships with the talent is usually direct. We have a head of talent, Brittany Kagan, who's been with us for 5 years and has built an incredible Rolodex and set of relationships with creators and influencers. And we definitely take a more premium approach to those relationships, where we try to find the creators who really like need their own show. A lot of creators want their own show, but we try to work with the ones where telling their story in a bigger way really makes sense. So yeah, we're usually going out proactively and co-developing something that we own together, and then taking it to the streamers or to a brand, etc.
Are you able to talk about any projects you're working on for big broadcasters? Is that
you mean like
because I know that some companies are trying to develop content because the broadcasters are running out of content, or they have
yes.
their own production challenges. So maybe you're a little bit more nimble. You've figured out how to do this. You're a smaller team. It's not as expensive, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And so are they reaching out to you to produce content for them, for the big broadcast networks? Or maybe not so much. Maybe you're more like, so you're more part of the social media, YouTube generation, right?
Yeah.
Rather than for like
we are.
linear, OTT crap.
Yeah, we are, and I think that's one of the reasons that we don't make those connections. I think the longer this goes on, the higher likelihood of that happening is. But as of right now, we're mostly focused on streamers and the end of the streaming wars. That's more like kind of digital native, like YouTube and Snap, as opposed to Hulu and Netflix.
Well, what other things are coming up? Anything you'd like to hint that you're going to announce soon, or any other new shows or new stars you'll be working with? Give us a clue.
Yeah,
What can you
well,
say?
there's a huge phenomenon happening right now in the world of sports, with athletes owning their own voice, owning their own platform. Obviously, athletes have had Instagram pages and Twitter accounts for a long time,
Mhm.
but really to have athletes think about their owned and operated social channels and YouTube page as like a mini TV network is relatively new. And so, for example, in the NBA bubble, which we alluded to earlier, a few athletes, a few NBA players are broadcasting their experience. There's a player on the Sixers, Batiste Bull, JaVale McGee, on the Lakers, and their vlogs are getting 2 million views an episode, and that's more than a lot of the games are getting. That definitely more than like a pregame show is getting, because fans want to go directly to the source. They want to connect with the talent, not go through like an intermediary talking head who's just telling you about the talent. So it's a really interesting space, and we've been working with Steph Curry, like I said, for 3 years, and a number of other players, but trying to do something more built out in that world that takes advantage of this huge demand from fans to connect directly with athletes.
So that means their lifestyle, their families, their own thoughts about the world, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Their activism, their workouts, their passion projects, the causes they care about, kind of the whole gamut.
That sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah.
An interesting development. We're trying to we are seeing ourselves as a TVOT TV network for our event coming up. I think everybody's got to think about that kind of perspective. So good luck on that. That sounds very exciting. All right, thank you so much, Nate.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
That's Nate Houghteling, who is the executive producer. Are you also owner, right?
Yeah, one of the co-founders.
One of the co-founders of Portal A, and really appreciate your checking in with us. I'm Tracy Swedlow. This is Televisionation. Go check more shows out at tvotshow.com/televisionation. And have a great day. Thanks. Bye.